I know you're a fan of legal weed. You're a fan of raising the minimum wage.
Yeah.
He's also a big Wall Street guy. I mean, a lot of these Republicans, you don't have to look too far under the surface to find out they're all playing the same game. He took $20 million from Wall Street. He did $5.7 billion in tax cuts and giveaways to corporations. Apparently, 99% of companies in Florida pay no corporate income tax. So it's one of the states that corporations go to sort of, it's a field day over there. And remember, he was feuding with Disney. Remember when he was feuding with Disney? And he was like, you guys are fucking woke and this has got to stop. But he let them keep a $578 million tax break at the same time. And at that same time, he also did a $1 billion tax hike on regular Floridians with a new sales tax.
Well, the amount of business that Disney must be bringing into Florida is insane.
Right.
I mean, they own Orlando.
Which is all the reason they don't need more of a subsidy, right? Like, let them fuck it. They'll be able to swim. They're not going to sink. Like, let them be.
What do you think that is? Do you think there's just some financial chicanery, some behind the scenes?
I think if you're the governor of Florida and you know how big Disney is, you might talk a game every now and then of like, we don't like these guys or whatever. They're too woke. But when push comes to shove,
I don't remember what that was
check.
in regard to, the woke thing. I don't recall. It was a very specific instance.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't remember it either. But he had a big fight with them, but ultimately he gave them their tax break. And then the other thing is, so there's a big sugarcane industry in Florida, and they lead to a lot of pollution because they do these things called burn fields. It's part of like the process involved with the sugarcane. And he came in and shielded them from any legal accountability. So people can't sue them over that. Yeah, so, and the Florida Republican Party took a $350,000 contribution from the sugarcane industry, and then in turn he protected them from legal liability.
And when you're saying pollution, there's particulates in the atmosphere because of the burning?
Yeah, they say that because of those sugarcane burn fields, there's increased risk of cancer and red tide. Have you ever heard of red tide in Florida?
That's the ocean red tide?
Yeah, there's some weird ocean red tide thing. Apparently the burning of the sugarcane helps lead to that as well, along with, like you said, the particulate matter, which could lead to cancer.
The burning of it, that's like a common agricultural approach, right? Where they do that to sort of revigorize that's not a word, but reinvigorate the soil, right? The topsoil. Is that what they're doing?
I mean, there's some industrial reason why they do it, but I think there was conversation around, hey, we got to regulate this. We have to make it we got to lower the cancer rate. We got to lower the red tide. We got to figure this out.
And there's a direct correlation between those burns and cancer instances?
Yeah, there's a lot of health problems around those things, yeah. Yeah, so he's quite the opposite of Bernie. I think he's an establishment Republican who's good at PR, basically. I think he's positioned himself. So there's two parts to politics. There's politics and there's policy. On the politics front, I think he's actually plotted his way around brilliantly, where, he is the heir apparent to Donald Trump, and there's a chance he could even beat Donald Trump in a Republican primary. And honestly, I think any Democrat should fear him over Trump in a general election. I think even half-dead Joe Biden can defeat Trump again.
Really?
I do, so? Yeah. Well, the problem is, Trump has siloed himself off, and he can't shut up about the 2020 election. It's rigged, it's stolen, and he comes across as whiny. And the Republicans under his leadership got wiped out in the 2018 midterms. They got wiped out in the 2020 main election, and they got wiped out in the 2022 midterms.
Well, people either love him or they hate him. And I don't think there's as much polarity when it comes to DeSantis.
That's right. DeSantis has a much better chance of gaining back some of the moderates that kind of fled.
Yeah, they just want conservative economic policies.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think he would be a good general election candidate, but in terms of how he governs, it would be George W. Bush, it would be George H.W. Bush, it would be Trump, it'd be all the same stuff. Tax cuts for the wealthy, super serve Wall Street, keep the military-industrial complex going.
Who do you like if Biden drops out?
The only person I'm interested in at the moment is Marianne Williamson, because there's some chatter about she might primary Joe Biden, and I would love that. Because, look, the problem with Biden, there's a lot of problems with Biden, but, ideologically, the problem is he has no grand vision, right? Like there is no, here's what I'm trying to do, here's what I'm trying to get to, here's the ideal. It's very like, I call him a status quo manager. It's like, I'll do some tweaks around the edges here and there, we'll make some things a little bit better here and there. But he's also dead, right? Like he's a zombie.
Yeah.
And then you have Marianne Williamson, who I think she would run in the spirit of FDR. She would say, we got to go back to, the Democratic Party used to be the workers' party. It used to look out for people, and we need to get back to that. So we need to do things like universal health care. We need to do things like universal education. We need to have higher wages, and that's more my politics. So right now, she's the only one I'm interested in. There's a decent chance that she challenges Biden, and I think that'll be interesting for this reason. Polls show over 60% of Democrats are like, we're done. We're done with this.
Yeah.
Come on. We got to move on from this.
What do you buy into this idea that that's one of the reasons why they keep finding these classified documents?
Oh, see,
that they're trying to push him out?
I think it's incompetence, to be honest.
Really?
I think you have it's a fun theory, like it's interesting to think about, right? But I think the Democratic establishment kind of realizes that they need him because Kamala's worse.
Yeah.
Kamala, I
Which
think,
is
has
wild,
right? Kamala's worse. Mayor Pete is worse.
Yeah.
These are people who are more unpopular than Biden.
Yeah.
They would rather take a half-dead Joe Biden than take one of those and roll the dice.
What about Newsom?
Newsom is plotting like he wants to run, but he would never primary Biden. He's a good little Democrat, and he'll fall in line and go through the process, and he'll think 2028 is my time. That's what he'll think. But, a lot of these people are secretly waiting in the wings for Biden to croak, and
Which
then he would step in. Absolutely, it could happen. And then Newsom would run in 2024. So, but he's trying to, he's starting to edge his way in there. Which, and again, for him, I think he would have a better chance than a Kamala or a Mayor Pete, but I still think he's got the slimy politician feel to it. There's a lot of stuff to pick apart in his record, as you accurately pointed out. I mean, look, this is the era of the outsider. It's the era of the outsider. Trump ran as an outsider. He won. Right? Biden was the return to normal guy. Like, okay, this Trump guy's getting a little crazy. Let's go back in this direction. Yeah. But it's still the era of the outsider. There's people still want something fresh, something different, something from outside of the political system to come in and bring about real change. It's not like politics used to be, where it's like, if you're the most buttoned up, if you're the most clean, if it's your turn, then it's your turn. Now it's more like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. All hell's breaking loose. Let's get some people with good ideas in there who are actually smart.